Well, hey there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Rate the Record podcast, episode 146. Thank you very much for joining me today. I am your host, Chris, as always, here in this room of mine, surrounded by these wonderful musical posters, here with you to review albums again, just like always. So thank you very much for choosing to do that today. And just remember that before we go any further, there's one thing, a bunch of things, or all the things I'm about to list that you can literally do right now or at any point to show your support for the show and the channel, and it's the following. Like, subscribe, rate, share, comment, and follow. 6 quick, free, and easy things. Again, literally right now, at any point during the podcast, you can do any one of those things, any combination of those things, and your support truly does mean the world to me. So thank you very much for choosing to do that. And of course, you can find other places to do those things as well over at ratetherecord.ca. That is ratetherecord.ca. The streaming links, the social media links, the RTR album chart, so every podcast score ever given will be there, including today's as well. And of course, the RTR Club. If you'd like to financially support the show, it's optional, but the option's indeed yours, and your support goes a long way by all means. The option is there to do that if you want to check it out, so make sure you look at all of that over at ratetherecord.ca. Alrighty then, I think we're ready to jump into today's album, and man, we are, for me at the very least, jumping way back to the 90s, jumping back into a very nostalgic album that I kind of grew up on. Out of a handful of albums I've listened to a bunch as a kid, this one definitely ranks up there as one of the higher ones. So for today, for episode 146, we are taking a look at Collective Soul and their 1997 album Disciplined Breakdown. Now, a lot of people are probably going to remember Collective Soul for songs like Shine and probably December. Maybe some things from this album too, like Precious Declaration and Discipline Breakdown, the title track, Listen, Blame. They have songs that were really, really good in the 90s and everything like that. They're not a band I think that's held up as well these days, but at the same time, sometimes going back to visit their old stuff is pretty good, and I think the podcast is the best possible reason for me to go back, listen to one of these albums, and really see if it's truly aged well with me, since I loved it being a kid and where I am now and everything that I like as an adult. So this should be interesting to jump into. I'm just rambling at this point, and I'm going to ramble just a little more because first, before we start reviewing everything, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this album. Disciplined Breakdown is the third full-length studio album by alternative and post-grunge band Collective Soul. It was released March 11th, 1997 through Atlantic Records. As of this album, the band consisted of Shane Evans on drums, Will Turpin on bass, Ross Childress on lead guitar, Dean Rowland on rhythm guitar, and Dean's brother Ed Rowland on vocals and guitars. Ed also worked as a producer on the album as well. The album didn't prove as popular as their first couple of albums, but still produced some memorable singles and a rating of 4 out of 5 on AllMusic. The album appeared on 4 charts, placing in the top 10 in Canada at number 5 and New Zealand at number 3, and it was certified platinum in the US and twice in Canada. The album spawned 3 singles. Precious Declaration, which had multiple chartings, went to number 1 in Canada and the US. Listen, that also had multiple chartings and went to number 4 in Mexico, number 2 in Canada, and number 1 in the US. And Blame, that went to number 11 in the US. So there you go, just a little bit more about the album, just in case you didn't know already. Oh boy, we're digging back in my childhood, which is always a fun thing to do. I mean, I've done that with a number of albums on this show, but this one is kind of one of those special ones where it's like, I think it's probably one of the first albums I listened to fully, like front to back. It's among one of them for sure. Collective Soul was definitely, had a handful that I listened to a lot as a kid. So let's go ahead and revisit this one now. This should be a lot of fun. I'll put on my headphones just so we can go ahead and get started. And we will get started with song number 1, Precious Declaration.
Precious declaration, yours is yours and precious declaration.
Alrighty then, song number 1 to kick it all off, Precious Declaration. I never know what to do with these headphones because I have to take one cup off, it kind of slides, then I put it back down around my neck, and then I gotta put it back on. This is gonna become a pain in the ass. I gotta figure out a better system. Regardless, that's for me to figure out and for you to not worry about. Song number 1, Precious Declaration. Oh boy, already getting off on tangents here. Anyways, this song, I think the punchy percussion to kick everything off was probably the best possible way to start the album as a whole. I mean, it's like a very simple kick snare pattern going on with that tambourine, and it's like already starting on a really good note. Plus, you got that really decent riffage kind of going along with it. I love the guitar riffs in the song, fantastic stuff, just super catchy right off the top. So, marks already for a fantastic start, fantastic kickoff to the album. And I also like that the chorus also too feels a little more spaced out and like a bit more expansive as compared to the more like condensed sounding verses. So I think it's just well constructed. You get these like kind of packed in little verses and then it bursts into the chorus and everything like that. So you get a lot of fun texturally and just production wise with that too. And I guess on that note about production, this is more or less like an all encompassing note for the entire album. The production's super solid all across. Like this track, this album, everything. So just good stuff all around. We are off to a good start, but you can see why this one was a single, clearly. I mean, catchy track, fantastic. It's got a bit of a bite to it, so what's not to like? Speaking of what's not like to like, let's see if there's anything to like or dislike about song number 2. Listen. Let's listen to it, huh? Yeah, there you go.
Why can't you hear?
As it rings out, I guess I'll just kind of pause it right there and say song number 2, Listen. And listen to me still rustling around the headphones. Haven't figured this part out yet. Anyways, moving on. It's just another great track with like a lot of excellent riffage in it. I mean, the opening riff that you hear that also kind of goes to the verses too. Like, how can you not enjoy that? I think it's just such a wonderful little like written piece. Catchy, nice, clean tone, very playful. I mean, I always loved it, and no hiding it. I still do very much like it to this day too. I think it just sounds fantastic, and pretty much every section of this song works so well too. I mean, it just flows really well, so it feels good as you're listening to it. There's so much to like about this track, and it's a pretty short. My mistake, it is not short. It is 4 minutes and 12 seconds. This song feels short to me, maybe because I'm having such a good time listening to it, so it just kind of storms on by. But yeah, so much to like in the song, regardless of its length. I was going to say because of how short it is, but clearly it's not short, so that's fine. The pre-chorus is probably my favorite part of the entire track, too. I mean, the verses are nice, the chorus is nice, but there's just something about that like middle build-up section, too, melodically, structurally, just great writing all around. Another fantastic track on our hands. Now, the question is, can the band keep it up? Well, we're going to find out as we go to song number 3. Maybe. Actually, that's literally the answer to the question there. Can they keep it up? Maybe. Well, song number 3 will tell us. Another kind of long ring out, so I'm going to pause it right there and say song number 3, maybe. This time I'm going to try to keep my headphones on my head. Again, these things are like kind of, I wouldn't want to say soundproof, but if I keep them both on, I can hear nothing but a bassy rumble in my voice, which will probably make me sound weird as I'm trying to talk. Anyways, I have to stop talking about the headphones and talk about the music. Song number 3, maybe. And with this one, we're definitely getting into more of that like safer, softer, like almost softer adult contemporary rock side of the album. We're going to get plenty of that for sure. It's pretty simplistic all around. There's not a whole lot to this one. There are some decent moments in the track, and I think that's pretty cool. But the riffs and overall composition aren't really nearly as fun as the first 2 tracks, so you're not getting as much with this one, for sure. I guess it's like a little catchy, but I think it's just that this one doesn't really have as much staying power with me, so with that, like, I don't know. That's pretty much where I can leave it. Like, it was a fine song, but there's not a whole lot about it that I'm that much of a fan of. So, I was asking if they can keep up the momentum. Clearly this one didn't for me, but maybe the rest of the album can. As we go now to song number 4, Full Circle. All right, song number 4, Full Circle. God, the biggest distraction is these headphones, I swear to God. These are really good headphones, but they're not very good for this. I need to find a way so I can hear the microphone through the headphones. I can't do. You know what? I'm sorry. This whole podcast is becoming about my headphones at this point. I really have to stop. This is my own thing to figure out behind the scenes. Song number 4, Full Circle. So right off the top, I will say that ever since I was a kid, like listening to this album, I mean, when this album came out, I would have been 8 years old, and so I've been listening to this album pretty much since then because my parents were huge Collective Soul fans, so they had the albums. I was listening to them. I would listen to almost through the entire things, but when this song came on, there is something about like that sound of the mute trumpet in the beginning that literally comes up at no other part in the song. Like you do hear horns, but the mute trumpet, you don't hear anything else about it throughout the entire thing. Whenever that thing came on, I hated it. I hated the sound of it. I didn't know why they had to use it. I thought it sounded dumb. And it honestly made it kind of an instant skip for me when I was a kid. So I don't think when I was actually a child, I've ever heard the entirety of the song until like now as an adult, which is crazy. So I can say that as this is like a first time listen for me for this particular song, there is more horns in the song, as I said, and they sound fine. I mean, they sound good. It sounds like a nice fun addition, so I can give it that at the very least. So I mean, for the most part, the song is indeed fine. I mean, like the heavily modulated guitar solo, I think was like a nice little touch and texture to kind of throw in there. So it like definitely has its playful moments to it. And as I said, the horns kind of make things playful too. So that's very fun. I feel like the track wants to be just that too. It wants to be a fun little track. And I guess, it is for the most part, but I don't know. I also found this one kind of lackluster in the end. So I tried to eliminate the bias of me just simply like not liking this one as a kid. And I ended up liking it more than I thought I was going to, but still, this one just kind of fell a little flat for me when it comes to other tracks on this album. It is what it is, but at least it's not the worst thing on the album, so that's good. And young little me, you can let go of the grudge. It's really not that bad of a track. Leave it alone. Can you blame me though? I was just a child. Song number 5, Blame. Another big ring out, so I'm going to go ahead and pause it. Song number 5, Blame. Not going to talk about the headphones this time. It looks so goofy on camera. If you're an audio listener, I apologize because you have no idea what the hell's going on here. But if you're watching on YouTube, just watching me struggle with these damn things, I blame the headphones for making this a terrible thing. Song number 5, Blame. With this one, even when I was younger, I've always wondered why they kind of went with that like gentle acoustic opening to this song. I mean, I don't have any problems with it. It sounds very nice. And it's just, yeah, everything but it is really pleasant. It's just when you get into the rest of the song, the context of it doesn't like sit. I don't want to say it doesn't sit as well because I mean, it does. It sounds really nice. And I think in the end it blends in well, but just, it still feels like a little off-putting when you hear that gentle opening and that gets into like the more rockier portions of the song. So I don't know. I don't really know where I'm going with it. I like it all. So what can I say? Like, I don't really want to complain about it too much or anything like that. And this is another one of the songs too, aside from just the opening, that you can tell that this one's definitely a single, even if I hadn't mentioned it or you didn't like look or didn't already know. Because this one has like a great riff hook in it. Once again, just fantastic riffage in the song. I love a lot of things about this song. And it's just really punchy too without necessarily being aggressive about it. So it's quite the draw when you're listening to this one. It's very easy on the ears. It has a bit of a bite to it. It's just a lot of fun all around. I like that like 3-3-2 kind of groove it has going on. So it's just another thing that feels very neat about the song. And I do actually like how that quiet acoustic passage tends to bookend the entire track too, because it starts and ends the track. And it actually ends on this like very nice strum, very quiet, and just feels very peaceful. So I mean, quite honestly, I really do enjoy it. As confused as I am as to why they'd want to bookend with such a quiet, like minimal acoustic thing, at the same time I'm kind of happy they did. So realistically, no notes about it. I hate how conflicted I am about this damn thing. like I don't dislike it. I'm just confused by it. I don't know why I am. I like it. So I don't know. I'm just gonna go ahead and hold this in my head for a little while as we move on to the next song. Song number 6, Disciplined Breakdown. Ooh, look at that, the title track.
Who listens to the words I say while I sound my ability to get back? I wanna break down.
All right. Song number 6, the title track itself, Disciplined Breakdown. I'm really digging the drum groove in this one. Kind of like the previous track, Blame, kind of had something a little different with the 3-3-2. This one has its own like little unique groove going on. So it just feels so different. So it's fun to like have this kind of stand out a little bit. And especially because the song is a title track too. That's the thing. Like if you do indeed have a title track, you don't want it to be boring. Like it doesn't have to be like a single or anything like that, or the catchy song on the album, but don't ever have a boring title track. And thankfully this song is not boring. I very much enjoy this one. Like it's not the best song on the album by all means, but at the same time, I've always really kind of come back to this one and always enjoyed the way it feels. I think a big thing about that too is just the bass guitar itself, because I mean the bass is really taking like a lead in this song, which is definitely welcome considering like it's a very guitar driven album as it is. Like even the bass riffs in the chorus are really fun too, but like it takes a big lead in the verses. The chorus, it does like a little bit of playful shit going on back and forth. Like, you know, just listen to the song. You'll know exactly what I mean. Maybe it's like the production of the track and less about like the contributions of other members, but like the bass is definitely like the standout of the entire track, aside from the drum groove that is too. And I mean, like, it's not that the guitars weren't present or not doing anything, but they definitely feel a little more restrained than they do with the other tracks. So it's just nice that the bass has like a moment to shine for a little bit in this one. That would have been a better pun if this was the first album we were talking about, but no, it's not Hints and Allegations. We might do that album eventually. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see how I feel about it. But for now, we're doing this album and this title track alone. Really, really good stuff. And speaking of like, you know, the chorus too, as I kind of just mentioned a minute ago, it's a great chorus all around. I really do enjoy it. The singing and background harmonies and everything like that are just like a fantastic touch. I think the harmonies in the background, well, it's like they're being sung by Ed and everything like that. It helps liven up the sound a little and keep it from feeling too naked. I mean, it just fills out the soundscape really nicely, keeps it clothed, if you want to use that naked analogy a little bit, I guess. I'm just trying to say that I really like the way it sounds, how it feels, and everything like that. So good stuff all around, good title track, fantastic stuff. Okay, I asked for forgiveness for rambling too much. There's too many puns in this goddamn album. Song number 7, Forgiveness.
There's forgiveness for you. There's wisdom, trust, and truth.
Another big old ring out, so I'm going to pause it right there. Song number 7, Forgiveness. So this one kind of sounds like a softer version of some of the album's punchier tracks. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like this one could have had more of a bit of more of an edge to it, is what I'm trying to say. But obviously it came out as a softer track, which is perfectly fine. It sounds nice this way. I think it fits, so that's all good. I like the addition of the EBO, like leading into the verses and everything like that. I mean, I personally like to use EBOs. I don't do it all the time, but I have before and I own one. I was kind of hoping I'd have it around my desk. Oh, I do. It's hidden behind my speaker for some reason. I have an EBO and I really like using this thing to, just do the long sustaining guitars and stuff like that. It's really cool. I'm glad I actually had that nearby. I didn't plan that. I like EBOs. I clearly own one. So I like when they're used, especially like properly in tracks. And I mean, there's not really an improper way to use them because there's so many uses for it. So I always like pointing it out when I hear it. It's very enjoyable and it just sounds really nice to me. So what can I say? Of course, I'm going to make a comment about it, especially given like the overall mood and atmosphere of the track. I think it actually suits really nice as being this little transition point, I guess, between like choruses and verses and intros and everything like that. It just works. I like it. It feels really nice. Speaking of feeling though, I feel like this song probably stretches on just a little too much, a little too long. But again, this is not a bad track, but I feel like it could have been cut off a little somewhere like a little earlier back. I'm just looking at the time. We're talking like 5 minutes for this song. This could have been 4 minutes. Probably didn't need to be that whole extra minute, but what do I know? So I don't know. Anyways, again, not even necessarily a bad track. I enjoyed it. It's fine for sure. So now we can move on to song number 8, and that is Link.
Slipping to the bottom of soul, lies spinning, man was saved by truth. The link of love are now made.
The fade out again to song number 8, Link. Quietly readjusting my headphones once again. I really like the effects on the opening guitar of this track. And I mean, it does go through the verses too, but it's the first thing you hear like in the opening of this song. It's this almost like watery kind of texture, a little bit dreamy in a small way. So like immediately it sticks to me from like the very first second. And then the smooth bass on top of that, I have to, my headphones, I can feel them sliding, so I'm just going to take them off. The smooth bass on top of the guitar effects too, just I think really helps, really enhances it. It just feels really nice because the notes are like a little more drawn out. So I think everything just feels wonderful in that sense. And interestingly enough, though, I mean, I really like the verses, but the choruses just kind of pull back from me a little bit. I mean, like it suddenly feels really mechanical on top of what was a really like nice, wonderful flow and feeling to the song. So I don't know. It's not necessarily that it sounds bad. It is in fact catchy, but I mean, it does feel like two different tracks in one at that point where it's like, unfortunate because I love the way the verses feel. Like I think it's like a really pretty feeling, really pretty sounding, great texture to everything, great atmosphere. So I'm really liking that. And then yeah, the mechanical feeling of the chorus comes in where I'm like, how unfortunate. Best way I could possibly put it. But another thing I like about the song too is the guitar solo that you hear, because the guitar solo on top of the lead melodic riff, like in the bridge of the song, I think is way more pleasing to the ear than I actually originally remember. Again, this is another one of the songs I remember from when I was younger. And just, I don't know, I guess this part always passed me by, but hearing like, just kind of like the lead melodic riff and the guitar solo kind of pile on top of each other and how nicely everything works. Like, I don't know why I don't really remember that all much because like, quite honestly, it's fantastic. I really like this. It was really nice to rediscover this whole thing. So yeah, I mean, it's not the greatest song on the album, but I mean, like, I definitely had a nice time with it. I had a nice time revisiting it, so there is that for sure. So let's see if I, listen, I'm not going to lie, actually, before I put my headphones back on. So the funny thing is, everything after Link, aside from, like, me reviewing this album right now and having written my review and everything like that, so prior to this review, everything after Link, so from song 9 to 12, I don't remember listening to it all as a child. I'm wondering if I listened to the entire album at all as a kid, if I stopped, because there was nothing about these 4 songs coming up that I remember in the slightest. I do now, obviously, because I have notes for it and I've listened to it and I'm reviewing it right now, so of course I have something to say about it. So I just want to throw that out there as how this feels like a brand new listen for me, so that's pretty interesting. Maybe it is for you, maybe you're very intimately familiar with this album. Regardless, we're going to move on to song number 9, which is Giving. Another big fade out with this album. Man, as compared to some of the albums I've been reviewing in like the more recent past, there's more fade outs to this album than there are to the other ones, is what I'm trying to say. I'm just going to hold my headphones before we go to the next song. Song number 9, Giving. This song feels very like folk rockish. It has that feeling to it altogether. I'm not saying that it is entirely folk rock, but it definitely has like that kind of vibe and style to it. There's also a lot of auxiliary percussion like scattered throughout the track too. And that mixed with like the clean and buzz guitars are really kind of driving that feeling home. Everything about this just feels very warm, very embracing. So it's very nice to kind of like just kind of get lost in the song a little bit. It's very nice. I know folk music tends to be a little more on the sadder side seemingly more often than not. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the folk music I've heard tends to lean in that direction a little bit. So this one doesn't necessarily feel sad. I didn't really read into the lyrics too much, so maybe I'm missing something. But regardless, I like the feeling that this song gives. There's no real hills and valleys to this one either. I mean, I think it's a fairly straight ride through the entire thing, which I mean is nice to have, but I mean, I can also see why this one would be very easy to pass over and maybe even forget while you're going through this album. Like if I told you to recall a song, or if you recall like 5 songs from this album, I have a feeling that maybe the title will be memorable to you, but nothing about this song would actually be incredibly memorable. Because again, it's very, very just like straightforward all the way through. You can say there's a lot of auxiliary percussion hits, so maybe that's the note that you would probably pick out about this one for sure, if I ever had to ask you for whatever reason. But yeah, there's nothing inherently wrong with the song. It's fine. Just nothing too drawing about it either. So what can I say? I mean, it's fine, but and I like how warm this track feels, but in the end, just nothing really kind of pulling me back into it, so to speak. The headphones are back on, so we're gonna go song number 10, In Between.
Confusion is heard, our voices afraid to speak cleanly.
The ring out once again, so I'm gonna pause it once again. Song number 10, In Between. So with this one, I mean, I don't know, there's something so cliche sounding about the song. It's incredibly safe, much softer than some of the other tracks on the album, very 4 on the floor, with like no real edge or bite to the sound at all. So I mean, it's pleasant for the most part when you're listening to it. There's nothing inherently offensive about it, but there's just nothing to it, period, that kind of draws my attention too much. I mean, as nice as the tones and production all around on this one, as I kind of already mentioned, it's just kind of a boring song. I mean, what can I say? Like even like the lead little guitar riff that we can hear in the song once in a while is very repetitive and uninteresting. I mean, there's just nothing at all memorable about it, or again, this song in general. So I don't know. But again, at least there's nothing like overtly offensive about this song at all. Like there's nothing to this one. I feel like it's a little bit of a drag to get through, to be quite honest. Yeah, I really don't remember this one. So it's fun to listen to these 4 tracks I don't remember at all and see how I truly feel about it now as an adult. Well, we got 2 more to figure out how I feel when I listen to them and such. Like song number 11, I don't want to scroll down that far. Song number 11, Crowded Head.
Your pride always suffocates when the truth that your heart might want. See, I'm living with the crowded head. It's crowded out my head.
Another ring out, so it means I can pause the song. Song number 11, the penultimate track of the album, Crowded Head. There's a little bit more of a pickup to the energy in this one, quite obviously, as compared to the previous track. So it's nice to have this one here where it is, because we're getting nice and close to the end. So you don't want it to completely drag unless that was the mood of the album overall, which I'm not really feeling that one for this particular album. The verses are pretty fun. I really do like them. The lower tone guitar that we hear and like the little solo riffs on top of that are also pretty cool to listen to. And also like the long draw of the instrumentals, well, Ed is just getting like really wordy on top of it all, actually works really well. It keeps like the soundscape good and full without like necessarily overwhelming anything. So I think that's definitely welcome. Feels good, sounds good, and just it's a lot of fun to get through. So yeah, not really many complaints about this one at all. I actually quite enjoyed this one. And again, I feel like this is like the first time I've heard this song, because again, I don't think I ever heard this as a kid. So it was nice to be able to like experience this and be like, wow, an old Collective Soul song I haven't heard that I actually enjoy. So that's pretty damn cool. Another thing I actually really like about the song too is that they play with stereo panning a lot in this one too. Now, obviously in the mix of certain songs, you'll hear guitars on different sides, like one guitar over here, one guitar over here. You might hear drums on one side, you might hear vocals on the other. Like I'm talking about like you can hear the swishing panning like right to left and left to right type deal of certain instrumentals, which I think is really cool. It's a neat little choice. Like definitely adds something a little bit new and different that the other tracks didn't have to them. So it's just something to kind of play around with and experiment with. And honestly, I think it's not 100% needed, but I did appreciate it. I mean, it was something new, and it added a lot of just texture to the entire atmosphere of listening to the song. So it gives you something a little different. You got to enjoy it. You got to appreciate the little things that these albums can give you. So what can we get with song number 12? Well, I don't think we're going to get everything, but if that's the name of the song, then that's what we're going with. Song number 12, Everything.
Guide me, save me. Everything takes precedence.
The final song on the album, song number 12, Everything. There's parts about this song, I'm just trying to quietly put down my headphones because I don't need them for the rest of the podcast now. There are parts of the song that I like. There's others that I don't really care too much for. I mean, like the verses are fine, for example, but then ultimately the choruses, I don't know, they just feel like a little underwhelming. Like not kind of the big bang I was hoping this album would utilize in its very last track. One thing I do like again about the verses, I dig the dissonant chords that kind of like pop out into there. They're fun little additions to just kind of have in there and make it feel a little more lively for sure. And there's also another song that has some like pretty cool little bass moments sprinkled throughout it. It definitely stood out to me, so it's just nice to feel these kinds of things. But I'm not gonna lie, I think this song is kind of a lackluster ending to the album as a whole. Quite literally, I thought about this while I was writing my review, and I was like, well, which one of these songs, which one of the previous 11 should have been the end of the album? I think this song and Blame should have switched spots. I think Blame would have been kind of a cool bookend to the entire album, where it's just like it has that quiet opening, has a great like full-on song in it, and then it closed out with the acoustic ring out thing and everything like that. It would have been pretty. It would have felt right. This song doesn't feel good as an ender. Lackluster ending to the album. That doesn't necessarily dock points off of it, but I just don't like the placement of this. It's like they didn't really think of how this would feel in the flow of things. You know, it's like thrown in at the last minute or something along the lines of that. But with that, we are actually at the end of this album, Disciplined Breakdown by Collective Soul. All 12 songs in the can now. So you know what we got to do next? We have to switch on over by kicking this off the screen. Because now, as I scroll down to my notes, we can bring these up on the screen. Yay! We know what those are. Those are numbers. Have you been to school? Those are numbers. Listen to me belittling the audience. Yes, the numbers are here. It's time to rank the songs 1 through 12, least favorite to favorite, not so great to great, worst to best, however you want to cut the cake. Please go ahead and cut the cake because, I mean, who doesn't want a slice of cake? I'm recording this on a Friday night. A slice of cake sounds pretty great right about now, but I'm also trying to lose weight, and I'm also diabetic, and I'm also celiac, so maybe I just shouldn't eat the cake. I should rank the songs, and that's exactly what I'm going to do now, so let's get to it, shall we? So, number 12, In Between. 11, Maybe. 10, Everything. 9, Forgiveness. 8, Giving. 7, Full Circle. 6, Link. 5, Crowded Head. 4, Disciplined Breakdown. So now we're in the metal, silver, gold, or bronze, silver, gold section of the numbers now. Bronze medal goes to Precious Declaration. Silver, Blame, because of course the gold medal number 1 is going to go to Listen. And I mean, I shouldn't have to explain myself. Listen is just a fantastic track. From front to back, from top to bottom, however you want to measure it. Everything about it is so good, so well constructed, well crafted, well composed. Just a nice track all around. So yes, it gets the number 1 on my particular list. I'd be curious to see your rankings of this album too. Maybe Listen's number 1 for you too. Maybe it's number 12 for some whatever reason. I would love to hear your reasoning for that. But while you're thinking about what you're going to type for that, these are going to disappear, and then this guy's going to show up. Rate the Record. You know the name of the podcast. That's exactly what it is. And that's what it's time to do. It's time to rate the record. I give you all the scores for the songs. I told you my thoughts and feelings and opinions on every single track on this album. So what does it all equal up to in the end? I'm not going to lie. I thought this was probably going to go down to like the low B, high C tier when I like originally started listening to this. I'm like, yeah, that feels about right. I don't know if it's probably grown as well on me over the years as I maybe think it has or hasn't. Well, I kind of surprised myself a little bit by giving myself yet another B tier album. We're talking 75.83% straight middle of the road B tier album for Collective Soul's Disciplined Breakdown. Quite surprised again that it actually made it up that high. But you know what though? There are some good songs on this one. There were some savers on this one, others not so much. But you know what? This one works for me. It's all good. So yeah, there's the score for the album. Fantastic stuff, and it disappears. That means I can wrap this all up now. So once again, as I said before, and I'll say it now, thank you very much for joining me today, hanging out and checking out this album with me. And if you did indeed listen to this album with me, do me a favor down in the comment section below, because no matter where you're listening to, there's comment sections everywhere. So be sure to let me know your opinion. Do you like this album? Do you hate it? Do you agree or disagree with me? How would you rank the songs? How would you rate the record? All of these things and more. You can let me know down in the comments. I'm very curious to read this kind of stuff. And of course, you could also find other place to leave your comments over at ratetherecord.ca. That is ratetherecord.ca. Again, the streaming links, social media links, the RTR album chart, which this one will now appear in the B tier, and the RTR Club if you feel like donating to the show. It's optional, but the option is indeed yours. Once again, found at ratetherecord.ca. Alrighty then, I know that these episodes are becoming a little few and far between. There's just things I'm trying to take care of in life, and not only that, but I'm also just sometimes not feeling like doing it. Like I get lazy, and I'm trying to fight that. I'm trying to get more episodes out, and I really want to. I have the next 3 lined up. And also, just in case you haven't noticed, on YouTube now, I'm starting to post polls about album anniversaries coming up this year, and I'm going to seriously consider like ones that get picked and everything like that. Not that I wouldn't consider others, but you know, I'm just curious to know what you would like to hear and like what some of your favorite albums are, so that way I can dig into those too. The one as of me recording this, I think it was like Beck's Odelay and Sum 41's All Killer No Filler are currently tied for first. So if you want to get your name in there, also too, because I think the Chameleon's Strange Times and My Chemical Romance's The Black Parade are on there. The Black Parade's in last place, which actually kind of shocked me a little bit. But regardless, it's still going on, and I'm going to keep posting polls like this, like maybe monthly or so, just so I can, like, you know, get a good idea of like what album anniversaries to cover. So make sure that you're following me on YouTube, so that way you can be a part of the voting system for that. And the links to all that, again, found at ratetherecord.ca. So make sure you're doing that. It's going to be a lot of fun. But that's all I got for you right now. So once again, thank you very much for hanging out with me. And until I see you again, go listen to even more awesome music. Take care, friends.